Hey guys, I'm running a bit late. Jobs to do, things to, clubs to run, all that sort of stuff, work to do. Hopefully someone joins and I can check my audio and stuff, but I'm a bit slack tonight, to be honest. Getting there, but it's taking a bit. Someone's there, so maybe I've got an audio check. If you could. Anyway, here we are. I look old, I look tired. Probably am old or tired at the moment. Jobs doing, I've just been to Bunnings, which is an hour's drive, of course, nowadays. I live in the country. But we're working on a little block plane. That's the job that we're sort of onto, which is a Stanley 110. There we go, we're drawing that up. I'll just drag, not at all organised because I was running a bit late. Yeah. So we might do a bit on that. There's 1,000 jobs to do, to be honest. There really is. I've got a heap of work to do. Some point, but we'll get a couple more weeks out of this, I think. So it's a bit boring unless you're interested in block planes, but there's a bit to learn. I'm going to add a scene in here, so you're going to get the blue screen for a bit. A minute. I'm just trying to work out how this mouse works. There we go. So OnShape, it's a pretty good program, really. And we've got a couple of people watching. Anyway, we're working on this low angle plane. When we open the program, we end up with this screen once we log in. And these are the personally I'm working on. These are all public, so you can have a look if you want to look. Things like a donation box, Williams Lane engine and Fields Portable, and another untitled document allowing your block plane, Steve's Marshall, Mark's Rod Guide, Foden FGS 18, Matt's nameplate, Avery Mudholes, and a few other jobs. But planes what we're looking at. Hey Mark. Hey, don't interrupt you, but I hope I can get you can hear me. That's where we're at with that. I'll open that. I'm just putting this up, but it might be useful for someone. I'm not sure really whether anyone's actually in this. But the stuff we'll check out. We ended up with so far. This is the assembly and all the bits we've got so far. So we've got a main body. We've got a screw that we can hide it by clicking that eye and putting a little line through it. Must be two of them. There we go. So there's a few bits we need to make. We need a little pin for this hole. And then here is just a 3mm pin, 3.2 or whatever it is. We can make that pretty quickly and easily. We could just measure the distance across the holes, or we could just make a pin, shorten it if it looks a bit long, which is probably how I'd make it in the lathe. I'd just make something, and when it was a bit long, I'd take a bit off it. If we made a new part studio, and rename that to pivot pin. Low battery, and if I take them off, you'll get a clicking noise, so we won't have to live with that. Sketch on this plane. It's an easy job. It's just drag that out. It's way too big, but we'll put 3mm. It's like that. We take this apart so we can look at it. I reckon it wants to be about 10mm long. So just a matter of extruding that. Probably put a little fillet on each end. Can't do both. I need to remember that. Oops. There we go. Got a little pin. That's steel. We'll edit the appearance. So we'll change the colour to some colour. And we'll rename it pivot pin. Just make it a little bit easier in the assembly. Now if we click on our assembly, Bill, drunk TIG sounds like the answer. Absolutely. start at the origin point there, which is not helpful. Let's put it there so we can actually find it. If we don't move off the little pop-up box there that puts it automatically at the origin point or in relationship to that origin point, if we do move off, it'll just place it wherever you can see it. It's a fasten, mate. Fasten on there and there. We want to reverse the direction. And of course, because it's tapered, that's what we've done. Just quite line up, see, because we put the mate on the tape surface. Cancel that, it puts it back down where we left it. There it is. And we'll try again. Fasten mate will go on this flat surface here. And we'll go on this one in here, which is we know is vertical. There we go. And we'll click offset. And we look at these arrows. The Z direction this way is the blue arrow. 3 millimeters. Let's try that. Wrong way. -3. Let's try that. It's getting close. We have a look at the front of it, at the back of it. We can see here that it's not quite lined up. It's very close. That'll do us. It's all lined up. That's about where it wants to be. Close that. Now pin's in place, so that's easy. It's another job done. What's the next part? All sorts of things we could make. None of them are, all the simple ones are sort of done. But looking at it, and we'll go back to this. Food sounds like a better idea, Boo, actually, to be honest. There we go. Do the thing. So we have this piece. It's a little lever. It's mostly in the flat. It's got a pin on one end. It's got a groove. It's the interesting part. This has got a bend in it here. It's going to be fun. What that does is it sits in the hole on the front here, which we've drawn in. And it moves that screw when you loosen it off, backwards and forwards, up and down to adjust the mouth of the plane. Hey, Peter. So that's the part. It's quite simple, I think. We probably need to do it on the actual, like make the part on the body. And we can do that in a part studio that we've made other parts for. So let's go back here. Scroll this out. Turn it around somewhere near normal. Just click on that corner. It should give us an isometric view there like that. It fits the screen. One of these it's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. It's this one. Let's work with that. which is this adjustable mouth we made. There's a couple of sketches that are still, we might close them off. Just resetting that and it cleans everything up. And we've got part one already brought into here. We dragged it across using this function, which is the derived. So that brings a part from another drawing in easily and quickly. So we've got all those parts we need in the middle and everything. If we built this as a separate part on here, then we could put it in our assembly and make it all work. So let's do that. Starting with there's a pin that goes down that hole. I guess all we really need is a sketch. If we go to top here, we'll make a new sketch. And we'll make a sketch plane because we know that's where it's got to sit. The only real reason to do that is that when you actually put it into your assembly, it goes in correctly in the right spot. And we don't need to mess around trying to line everything up. So we're going to put it on this plane, sketch on this plane. Now, we're going to use we're going to use that line. We're going to use probably that. Oh gosh, we're going to use that line. I'll do the thing, that line. It's probably all we need, so we can close this off and close this piece off. And we still haven't quite got it. Use this line as well. It's not doing it. Scroll in a bit closer. There we go. Try that. There we go. So we've got the two circles, which are the right distance apart, on the right plane to start this, which is not exactly right on the bottom. If we look at this sideways, it's that much higher, so that if we build it on that plane, then drop it into the assembly drawing, it's all going to be right. Put this on top, back where it was. If we zoom up from down there using the scroll wheel, we can actually move that in and out. And we need a pin. So we've got, that's our pinhole. I'm looking at this with a ruler. Where's my ruler? I think I left my ruler probably downstairs. I took it down. This will do. I can't see a thing with my glasses on the ruler. Probably 8mm, that circle. A little circle around the pin. So we'll draw that in next. And I'm just going to draw a full circle and we can cut that a bit out. There we go. 8. I'll call it 7.5. Like so. Now this is all offset and a bit strange. I find the centre for this slot is over here somewhere. So that it actually moves backwards and forwards. Let's see if we can fudge this up, make it work. It's a 7mm screw, I think, from memory. maybe. No, it's a 5mm screw I think we used. So looking at that, the centers of the ends, the 17 is the distance between the two centers is 17mm, and the distance from that one to that one is 15, and this one to it's about 12.5. Let's do some geometry here. Put our glasses back on so we can actually see again up here. So we need to describe an arc. Center point circle, center point arc. We'll call it a construction line. We can press Q to toggle that on and off. $12.5, we'll call that 12.5. Now looking at the top of it, we've got this the right way around. Not even close. Control Z fixes that. Q. So from this point here, there's an arc like that, and it's 12.5. Looking down at the top, that's not right. Like so. There's another arc. Like so. Which is about 15mm. Looking at the offset distance to one side, on the long side it's about 9mm. So the center is about 9mm from the center. Draw a line here. Something like this, I think. And we'll put a dimension on that. This one here to this one here. We'll call this 9. Except I think we're on the wrong side there. We'll draw another line for the other side anyway, and we'll put the measurement in there. we forgot to make this a construction line, so we can just click that and we can click on the construction line. Or we can preview, and that'll make it a construction line. We'll put another measurement on here. I think the measurement between there and there, if we look at it, it's very difficult to make sure you got it the right way up, but that's 9 millimeters. This one here is a bit wider. I can say it's 10. It's not that much wider. Put that. And click 10. That changes that. So I think the centers here are something like this. There, it's 5 millimeters. And here, on that intersection, is also 5 millimeters. Now it's got to run through the center of this, I guess. So what we have, it's not quite right. Use a radius. Oh, bearing here on the bench. I'm just going to guess that. I'd go right out the limb there and say it's about the same diameter as the bearing. That's a bit of a fluke. Which is 32 millimeters. They're the bearings of the fan I've just done up. Big industrial floor fan down there that I've just put new bearings in. So, there's a function here called 3-point arc. If we start here, not like that. 3.8, that's why. We're back. I think we're back. Sorry, you lost me there for a minute. I probably lost you quite some time ago, but anyway. Let's keep messing around with this. But that was an internet glitch on my end. And well, we need a 3-point arc from this point to this point. And a radius, which we can write in 32, 16 millimeters. And that's the correct radius. We offset that using this. Offset that line. 2.5. Except that we need to put a decimal mark point in that. Like so. And the same on the other end. Click that arrow to make it go the other direction. And left click 2.5 millimeters. our slot, so we can remove some of these awful lines. M is the trim number, the trim button. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. We don't need that one. Need that one. So we have got this one. Don't need this one. We don't need this one. Hey, Jamar. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Hope this is helpful to someone. I've got a funny banana shaped piece here. That's our slot. We've still got this hole here. If we select that and click construction line, that might make it a little bit clearer. So there's our slot and our pin. I don't know where I put my piece. That's the other thing. Oh, here it is. Now, this has got a bend in it this way on the flat. That's a bit interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing to do. There's several ways we could do that. Probably in sheet metal might be the best. Thinking about that. Okay, that's what. Hey, John. Thought you'd be in bed hours ago. So that's got our sketch. There's another kidney-shaped piece goes around the outside. And looking at that, it's not quite just an offset piece. It sort of is. I think we could get away with making it like that. It's about 3 millimeters. Flip it this way. Click that so it goes the other way. We can continue this all the way around here. Left click to work, and then we'll put in 3 millimeters. And that's the shape of the piece. Now the curves in here, these are actually off that onto there. And this one isn't quite exactly how it should be. So I'm not sure exactly where we need to be with this. We might delete that. And we'll call the big hole here 5 millimeters. So if we make a tangent on there, that's 7.5, so it's 3.7. 0.75 and 2.5 is 4.25, 6.25. So center radius, this is out the hard way. Press Q, what we think of it. $6.25. There. And somewhere on that radius, just so good, we can put a 5mm center point arc. Probably wants to. It should automatically pick up a tangent there, and it hasn't. But we know there's 2.5mm radius, or we're guessing it's 2.5mm radius, so that fixes that problem there. That looks about right. And the other one, I reckon, is about, let's just guess that. Something like that. Let's change that again. Bill's hat's not working. There we go, we'll change that to 1.5. And we want a curve that runs between here and here. Probably the easy way to do point curve or tangent curve, probably a 3-point arc between there and there. It looks like it's going to line up about where it should. We could try that. It'll be close enough. Two more. Look, let's go. Trim this one. Put an overlap piece here. Zoom right out to see how that looks. I think we want to keep that one and probably get rid of that one. And same with this one. Get rid of this one. And this one. And right, it will get rid of these actually lining up here. Good question. This one doesn't line up, see? See that? I think we probably cut this a little bit short. Let's extend that. Use the X or extend. slide this round here. Escape. Try again. It looks like it extended nicely. Trim back there. We can trim that out. So that's got that shape pretty well. I think we've got that sorted. Hanging down here, directly down in front. See, this feels a bit strange. It looks a bit banana shaped. This is 5 millimeters across here and 5 millimeters across here. What is this distance here? We can measure that. Down here in this corner, which you never ever see because it's behind my head, there's a little measuring tape. So show measure details. If we click that one, oops, Control Z on that. If we click this one to measure, and this one to measure, the center distance is minimum distance apart is 4.6 across there, and it's when you put that, it gives you a little dotted line to show you where the measurement's taken. And that's not quite right. I think it's this top line that's not quite right. Let's select that, redrawing. Delete that. And we will offset this one. Five millimeters the other way. And that gives us a proper 5 millimeters. And we can trim that little bit that's not working there. There we go, like that. We'll zoom out on this one so we can actually see it. And see, this doesn't quite line up. The best way is probably to trim this line out. And we'll put in a center point arc there. And the center point, we're starting on there. Swing him around till he touches here. And then we can trim that piece off, and I think that'll be close enough. Cosmetically, that looks pretty good, I think. Now, little lever with a bend in it. Let's go back to talking head. I hope Bill got his sausages to work. It's got a bend in it and straight up and down. It's about 5 millimeters wide, I guess, 4.5 wide. straight up and down. It's got to bend that way. Two ways we could do it, but I think I'm not going to mess with sheet metal. I think I'm probably just going to extrude it and then cut the side profile out. Anyway, we want a line and a construction line from here. It says 26. No, I don't know if that's what it needs to be. If we left click it to make that work, it should put a dimension straight on that. Put a dimension on there? Probably not. We put dimension on it anyway on that line. Now that dimension needs to be, and that's an easy one to work out because we just measure that. Probably 32 millimeters. Double click on that quite easily. Throw it in. We'll put a radius on this end. Center point arc is what we need. And I'm guessing it's 0.5 millimeters. So let's go 2.25 millimeters. Like that, and a line here. Straight up to there. Escape, because it doesn't need a dimension. Line from here, just exactly the same. Straight up to there. It's a vertical line because we've got that little line and it's perpendicular to something. I don't know why we do it that way, but anyway, there we go. There's a radius in this corner and this corner. We trim the middle out. So there we go. I reckon that's a 5 mil radius. Let's just put that in here. So we'll put a fillet in there on that one. Might be a bit ambitious. I think we can fillet both of them. There we go. Confirm that and press 4. And let's change everything. Do a different way. There we go, that works. One at a time. It's remembered that we've changed it to 4, so it's automatically put that in without trying to change everything. Anyway, that's what our part looks like. What's our thickness? 1.6. Could extrude that. So, it doesn't want to be 25.6. I'm guessing. And that's extruded it the right way. Okay, there we go. Of course, there's a pin as part of that. Part of now, this is sheet metal bottle. I think this is the way we're going to do it. Even after saying that, no, I'm not. But parts and services to convert is that piece. We don't want to exclude any. We do want to exclude some surfaces. You only want one piece. Faces to exclude. Is that one? That one. Okay, I mean this. We're going to do it this way. This way. And delete that extrude because we're not going to do that. We're going to work off. We're going to make a sheet metal model off here. There we go. What we've done is we've used the thicken function, and the faces and regions to extrude is what we've sketched. And our thickness is not 0.5 millimeters, it's 1.6. Like so. This is sheet metal piece. Now it requires a bend across here somewhere. Edges are to bend. Click that and make that work little part rather than the actual. We've got a sheet metal part rather than an actual extruded part. Now that should enable us to put a bend across there. Click bend. Sheet metal bend. Need a bend line. Before we go back to here, and we need to find sketch 6 with that. Looking at that, we have a look at the front here. We'll come down here so we can zoom it up. There's a bend line across here somewhere, and I'm going to go with probably on the top there or on the underside. It's probably, we've got 7mm from there. So we'll put a construction line across there somewhere. Something like that, nice and square. And we measure that. I'm going to go down the side here from there. We're not far out, but 7mm. So we'll call that the bend line. Click that. It should bring us back to a sheet metal mould. A sheet metal sketch. We've got this line across here, which should be a bend. We'll click down here and it says bend. That's our bend line. Don't want 90 degrees, we only want, let's see, let's bend it over. We want what? Probably 20 degrees. Let's see how that looks. See, let's put a bend in. It's the wrong way. We want to bend it the other way. It's 20 degrees look. I hold this piece up against it. It wants a bit more than that. Let's try 30. Looks pretty good. 28 might be the answer. Use model bend radius, U factor, all that stuff. Bend line, bend angle. Click that. There we go. So it's got a bend, as it should. And there's our flat patterns. Flat. The piece off the end here where we've selected the pieces to make the sheet metal model for. So we're going to go back and edit that. A bit there. Which is outside our. And there we go. What we need to do now, because that part's finished, is to finalise that sheet metal model. And that way we can go ahead and make all the other bits. Finish sheet metal model. Now we can go ahead and put a pin. The pins are very very simple thing. It's basically the same diameter as that hole, and it's about 5 millimeters long and a square on the bottom. Picks up a little bit in the top. So if we made it new, probably out of this. And we use the use or the project tool. Start with that. It's our sketch. Extrude that easily. So all we've done is extrude that line we've already got. It needs to be 5 millimeters out this side. That's the side with the bend, I think. No. 0.4. We've used the wrong side. And then second end is it's a long way around of doing that. I've just worked it out in my head. And we need to add it as part of this component, I think. Seems a bit short. Yeah, I'll do. So there's that component. It's quite simple. There's no, there might be a little filler there, but not very much. So let's do that. It's 3. It's not very much. There we go. That just tidies that up. We call this the what are we going to call this? What's the correct name for this? This part is the, what do you call that? McGamble 777, good day. Exactly. The piece that was stuck out the end. We call this the adjustment lever, front adjuster. Front adjustment lever. There we go. And we're going to change that. Sketch 6 is still visible. We'll turn that off. Edit appearance. We'll call it metal. We'll go with the similar. There we go. That's that part. Let's put it in place. And McGamble 777, if you just came, this is sort of what we're messing with, and same for you. Whoever else is called in. John's there, I know. And Jamal's there as well. Anyway, this is what we're working. Have been for a few weeks, and this is the progress we've got with it. This lever goes on here. We can turn this off so you can't see it. Click that. There we go. Now, the magic of CAD is that because we've made this on this particular piece, when we import it or insert it here, and down here, and we front adjustment lever, little levers, if we move off, we can drag it around anywhere. If we're still on here and we click the enter button, there you go, it's in place. So that's what we've done. This is adjustable, so we can slide this down to where we need to be. But the end game, I think, is probably to have it so that when you turn, tilt this lever, move this lever backwards and forwards, that the screw will locate in that slot and it'll move this backwards and forwards. So there we go. That's what that does. We'll put that other piece back in, like so. And to be honest, I might call that a night because that was a bit of a go. But that looks all right. It's starting to look pretty good. Did we put this on a thread? Can't remember whether we put this one on a thread or not. I think we did. No restraint, so it moves around everywhere. But there we go. I'm probably going to call this because it's a work night and it's been a crazy day. But just looking at that, if we can compare, pretty much the same thing. Look at my poor fingernails. It's a woodworker. It's been a crazy day. Well, I've still got a band to unload because I've gone and got cement sheet and not cement sheet. I've gone and got gyprock and plywood and stuff, and it's still in the van, so I've got to unload that. And thanks everyone for watching. I know these tend to drag on a bit, and I really appreciate you tuning in. I hope someone gets something out of this. I know there are people following along. Sort of, and I've seen some of the work that they're doing, and it's improving beyond all recognition, to be honest. So, got to be happy with that. But if it's not something that you're attempting or trying to do, well, thanks heaps for just tuning in and being of some. Yes, I will. You got that clicking noise back because my headphones have just gone flat. But yes, I will constrain all that and make it so that it does actually work properly in the CAD, as it should. That's probably a video on its own, just making that work. And I've got to do some homework just to get up to speed again on animation, complicated animation like that. But it's definitely doable. It's not something I use a whole lot, but certainly something that we can make work. Anyway, thanks guys. I'm out. I might be in Discord for a little while, a bit later on. It's getting a bit late, but I mightn't be too long. But if you want to join up, or if you want to sort of hang around and have a chat Discord or whatever. It might not be about CAD or whatever. But thank you. More soon. Next week off cam. It might be next week. I'm going to have a play around with it and work out what I need to know about it, and then we'll go through it on cam. Absolutely, and we'll make it work. And if we can get all that front end going, then we can start work on the back. There's a bit of work in this. There's a lot of little bits, but it's definitely doable. And the sheet metal tool's pretty powerful, as you can see. Just put a bend in something like that, make it work. So I think we've got a pretty good start on this little block plane. It's a bit of a mission, a lot of work in it, but we've got a pretty good start on it, and it's certainly starting to look like a block plane. So anyway, catch you guys. Thanks everyone. Much appreciated. You've all signed in and joined in and all that stuff.